Yeah, Baba. Yeah, Baba. It's neat.
Hello, temo femo yote minkpe mo fe mo kambani tete TV o ira don wa de nche ake ofe ebe ni o kwemi bole gadangbe no ya ewo ke Ghana no ya ewo wo yo bi ngon na wa ake ngmene wasa wo pe ko nyemeni nyi ba fita wo ku na e cheku benyele wo you no fe no Ghana ona be ni ncho wo politics wo economic issues social issues wo school ya me nu chumo mi no fe no ni ya no Ghana wo gba isande wu ya bi because le fin call we ko call ye man said nche oye wekume ye hia oye bi ye hia oye na bi ye hia ona be ni nchon so we discuss on akani fin wo ke ganwe mo fi because won tawni wo ganwe mo ni e tawni laje wo kwani edamoshin ona be ni nchon so ngmene ball mi ni jino ni wo ba yue dan you ake aloye be san mi ne you ake keji Obote Fourth Republic name niji be kajabe ni waje 1992 constitution na shishi mene mi no ngba ne ke obana ke keji o tawo amla loko ni na kan amla loe ojo twa ke chobofo jino ni ameke juwa me here Akuffo Addo amla lo ne enye eba fo oti eba foti ameba fe kenkle amla loko ni keji oto na ameba fe kenkle ona beninchon ojoni Akuffo Addo ke mene nya me here ni ametwa ke chobo ni amefo ke no ni ameyano ni amefi Ghana ni ama amefi ameyake be na mbaka amehio amla lo le na amenye me be ni December ba ke shone ko le Ghana bi ba fun oshiki against ame lo no fe no ha mi no le neke no kwe ejino ko ni ofo na ye MPP bi aten ake ame keji ame batase no ni ame ye Ghana bi ano ame fo no ko fe mo yi ame fo no ko fe mo shi beni ame ba ka ame yu ata na ame ti ono ame ho ni bi ni afe ha ame fe ni bi ni Ghana yo ame ho fe ke ame twa ojo ame lenche ame to companies ni eja ni ame ba ho ni bi ha me ye ame ba ho blofo me cheap eke Ghana ni enyeshi ona be ni nchon ni ebe fa una kan ojo twa ke chobofo ke shikaju ona be ni nchon ni Akuffo Addo MPP government ne ame yano ni ame fe alo ka jebe na fon shiki ame fe an ke bata na ame yano na ame fe olu ona ke ame gbe Ghana shi ojo gbande enche mi no nko obo na kan mene nwe nke kon ba tumo be ni nko obo ko ba fita wo weku na ye chekwe eneme wa yue an ke jenyi sa file mi fe wa yue ni bi ko mene nko ekwe ba mini jino ni nke ba papa le ni nke picture engme screen no actually Brian Achampon leji MP for Abetifi ni le no ji Minister for Food and Agriculture bona beninchon kenya ba akaye ni Mr. Owusu Efriye me poster ni around against Baumia na ewi ni ekwese bandon no ni Akuffo Addo fe reshuffle Brian Achampon jimoni ewole Minister for Food and Agriculture now mini jino ni Brian Achampon efe ni nko obo ake me na eme ojo twalo eson ke chobofo ame ho Ghana ni bi ha ame so be na mbaka ame ti ono ame mfi ame yake ni bi ni Ghana no mie keji ame ho ya gboya mba ho ame onum shishi Brian Achampon no na ale tumo be ni nke bo leji Minister for Food and Agriculture now around a hotel chain ni achole Rock City Hotels bona beninchon leji money around okeji ote kwawuni amie one of the biggest hotels ni ojeme actually one of the biggest hotels ye Ghana fe bona beninchon Rock City Hotels kote kwawuni amini je na eje eko ejeme MPP bi ekeji amemfe ame retreat ka amini bi efe le hotel ejino ni me afio mini ayawo mi be ko me NDC bi epo ka afe no ko ye Eastern region po jemeji eni ameya bona beninchon now snit niji snit benyele snit what many men am control what pensions can be ye Ghana government institution am control what snit what pensions can be a Ghana konike okchunia ni oda ni oba pension bona beninchon no na no kofio no yi bona keke o chuni aji ofio ye o paycheck emi no snite na kan shika je na amejuo amewa me investor bona amo ameke wo no chumo ami bona fe ni se na mo abai ke ameheshika ameke me shika because ka le ke kan she e ba devalue ke beni cd e gbi oshini dollar ya anwene sku ebe ne bona beninchon no snite ka me shika ame ye companies na ameke wo ame ye investments na ameke wo mi bona fe ni se na mo afa mi ni anya abai bona fe ni keji onye o retire ni shika ehijemena anye femini akeko abo now SNIT one of the few ventures ni SNIT invest yemie eji hotels ni your Ghana bona benicho ofane follow mommy bole kefe ne ke maji ansane if you atomoke ogba a little boring bona benicho she's money ma taking time kono no shudugba now bona benicho right so ame kana kan shika jiye kome ewo hotels ami ni ame invest in hotels ona beninchon bona fe ni se na mo any pension fund there edomo shudugba now SNIT ame yake in 2022 ame ba ho 60% of government shares ni yo ne ke magia hotels fm bona beninchon so many hotels and they were you hotels and were you Labadi Beach Hotel welenche wa Labadi Beach Hotel ninyele SNIT ono 60% numa minja ekpa yemi La Palm Royal Beach Hotel so wadi enche wa hotels enyo ne magashipono ni gan dangbe fomo bi ni yo la keteshike nwa surrounding areas efe amena nuchumo na amenfemini amenchu ejeme Elmina Beach Resort, Ridge Royal Hotel, the Busia Beach Resort, the Trust Lodge Resort. So hotels ekpane SNIT efiame yakame ma ho 60% shares yemi. Bona beninchon. It's a business decision. Shimon ame feni ekululu ni onake nipi na sana fe poten ni keji government yenoko ni ata ona ho afeko na kan ni bi odugba lo afe na kan ni bi odugba amefe tuma amemfe shi afe mu ona beninchon kiani me akana na yue wo amefe ni bi ko me ka chumo ye ne ni efe tuma amemfe shi amefe noko wolo ne ba je pocho noko ake MPP nyone ni leji Minister for Food and Agriculture 60% of neke shares ne fe ni government in town ne ho ambo komepe niji Brian Champone no na ale ni MPP nyone ni leji Minister for Food and Agriculture hotel say ahale sanena sa no obio ejake and Ghanaian businessmen bejame ni amewu ameye egbe ni ameye shika ewale ni amewu amebanye ame neken businesses ne brafo chono go competitive bidding eshishi chomo pekekeji ake keji noko nuchumoko ni government in town na chuale alo noko ni government in town ne ho egbeli ogbe ne ha mo fe mo ba ni ameba chon ame wala ake neke nuchumo ne manyama fe mini manyama chunke ami ni machu alo neke noko ne manyama he ni MPP biye alo tachole te SNIT biye ni amontone mind you keje ba kaye last month Akuffo Addo eshwe onupa ni yo SNIT ni ta SNIT no eshwele neke osafo mafo binu wojeme egbeji kofi osafo mafo kanye ba kayi bona beninchon now le ni akele batano le boin push neke ni bi ne ani neke ni bi ne ete bona beninchon neke competitive bid ne na megbeli lele nuchumoyin keme konklome ni amenye shika iwele na mbanya mehe neke hotels ne ekome baba shi no ne te no nchon no kwake na kenuwe amefe no kokeke all this while ame lemoni amba femini ame ba ho neke hotel na no mimbi yake aniene woni Akuffo Addo shwe money control SNIT bona benicho neke osafo mafo binu ba wojeme boni afe ni neke nokwe enye ya no beni ametawolo nanya ho ame party nyolo ona benicho te balete ni minister onum shishi Minister Jibo Jenny Ojoe Rock City Hotel say ni Dumona ni Ekenhenike hotels ne Jenny ni awole minister eje ko yemi leno still eji onukpa ni Edumoneke Rock City Hotel say na blofo ba ke legit CEO legit director still maintain a directorship role. Bona Benichon so bomoko ni oye government mi ani ankro Ghana bi banye ni ekeboacha onum sisi aho share say 60% share say ni your snit your hotels name in fe aho fe MPP nokome aho fe MPP nokome so me fi am yake ame ba na me ba ho no fe no ha me ama me fi am yake ba na me ba ame pa me ba ye na me to na me goy ama me fi am yake ame be na mbaka me ti ono ame jegbe blofo ba ke ame milk Ghana dry ame jegbe ame squeeze Ghana ame jegbe ame nya Ghana mi ame jegbe ame nya Ghana mi ona Beninchon ami te ba alete ni Minister of State Jibo Minister of State okay government chuni ke government honi ahon yabo bono your government mi no conflict of interest te fi o tempo mono your government mi no bono o company ne heni na ho ko me Ghana nyo banye ke bo atwa me Ghana nyo banye ka ke ekebo ba tana akele hunne ke hotels ne e banye he wache okojetu ablakwa ni nekeni bi ni government fi okaje HNA eke ewomi ojogba ni enyemi leji money once again e bagbele nekeni ne na no Ghana bi ni wo fe wokwe miss money onu yelele nche na konike wo ba konu wacha no boletui.
Yes, I can confirm to you this morning that at exactly 8 a.m. the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice has been this morning petitioned. The petition borders on matters relating to the sale of hotels under SNET's investment portfolio to a sitting Minister of State, the Honorable Brian Achampong. By this petition, I am requesting Shraj to commence full-scale and impartial investigations into the sale and the prospective purchase by the Honorable Brian Achampong using his company, the Rock City Hotel Limited. Now, by way of background, on the 7th of February 2022, SNET strangely put out this notice with the caption, "Sourcing for Strategic Partners, International Competitive Tendering, Project number GR/SNET/CS/0001/2022. Request for expression of interest for investment in SNET-owned enterprises in Ghana." The notice stated in very clear terms that the hotels under SNET's investment portfolio, 60% shares were going to be divested, and the transaction features are as follows: opportunity to acquire control and set strategic direction, opportunity to partner with the largest non-bank financial institution in Ghana. The hotels listed in this notice are the Labadi Beach Hotel, La Palm Royal Beach Resort, Elmina Beach Resort, Ridge Royal Hotel, the Busia Beach Resort, and the Trust Lodge Hotel. So six in all. So this was in 2022. After this notice, there were rumors that the whole procurement arrangement was being cooked for one person. But there was very scanty information, and it was difficult to proceed on those rumors. There were also considerable agitation from some of the hotels listed. If you take Labadi Hotel, for example, the Labadi Beach Hotel is one of the most profitable hotels under the SNIT investment portfolio.
In fact, in Ghana.
In 2022, they paid dividend to government of 25 million Ghana cedis. And I have that report here. In 2021, they paid 10 million Ghana cedis dividend to government. The Ridge Royal Hotel is also doing very, very well. And indeed, I have a copy of their latest financial performance report. And it's a very healthy company financially. So one wonders why SNIT, which many actuarial studies in recent times, including the ILO report, are raising concerns about its ability to even pay pensions, in the near future, why they will be divesting their stake in these very profitable hotels. So we have been digging and trying to get the needed documentation, what you may call the smoking gun, so that we can proceed on concrete basis and not just on rumors. Fortunately, I have intercepted this letter dated 21st March 2024, signed by Mr. Kofi Osafo-Maafo, who was then the Deputy Director General, IDD. We all know that he's now taking over as the boss at SNIT, 27th March 2024. And this is a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago.
So did he sign as deputy or as DG?
He signed as deputy. He signed as Deputy Director General, IDD. And this letter is addressed to the board chairman, Ridge Royal Hotel, Cape Coast, Ghana. And it reads, "Dear Sir, notice of proposed sale of SNIT's 60% equity stake in Ridge Royal Hotel. We write to inform you of SNIT's strategic decision to divest 60% of its stake in the hotels within its investment portfolio to a strategic investor. We are pleased to announce that we have identified a prospective buyer to acquire the portion of your stake in Ridge Royal Hotel. In accordance with the shareholders' agreement dated 1st April 1999, which outlines transfer restrictions on shares as per clause 5.2. And this letter to Ridge Royal became very crucial because SNIT had proceeded to advertise. They were going to sell all the hotels, the 60% shares, treating all the hotels the same way, forgetting that they didn't have 100% control in Ridge Royal. There is a minority shareholder who has 4.9%. So this was brought to their attention by the minority shareholders. They protested. And so they had to now, despite what they had done, having advanced in the divesting of the 60% shares, they had to now walk back and respect the shareholders' agreement, albeit belatedly and grudgingly. But let me proceed. So in accordance with the shareholders agreement dated 1st April 1999, which outlines transfer restrictions on shares as per clause 5.2, SNIT is extending an offer to the minority shareholders of Ridge Royal Hotel to exercise their first right to purchase our 60% equity stake within a 45-day window. Failure to act within this specified time frame will result in a waiver of such rights. Now, this 45-day window lapsed on the 12th of May. And my information is that the minority shareholders are protesting the arm twisting, the disregard for due process, how they have been sidelined. And so they have asked their lawyers to protest. So they have refused to participate in this offer. Now, what this means is that technically, SNIT will say that you have not taken up the first right. And so we are going ahead with our sale. Let me continue with this interesting letter. It says, per the provisions of clause 5.2, we provide the following details regarding the terms under consideration by the preferred bidder for the acquisition of SNIT's 60% equity stake in Ridge Royal Hotel. This is where the very interesting revelation is made. So, Mr. Osafumafu reveals in this letter that the prospective buyer is Rock City Hotel. The valuation of SNIT's 60% stake in Ridge Royal Hotel is $8.4 million. Capital expenditure projected for the refurbishment of the hotel is $2 million. Anticipated completion of refurbishment within 12 months following the execution of all agreements. This communication serves to fulfill our obligation under the aforementioned clause of the shareholders agreement. Thank you, yours faithfully, for Social Security and National Insurance Trust, signed Kofi Osafumafu, Deputy Director General, IDD. So, the minority shareholders, per this letter, had 45 days to cough up $10.4 million. They have written protesting, and I have a copy of their letter to SNIT. But you see, Doc, fundamentally, I have always maintained that it is unethical, it is wrong, it is immoral for ministers of state, for public officials to participate in the sale of state assets. It's wrong. Because you see, such a major decision will clearly go to cabinet. There will be cabinet discussions. You are sitting in cabinet as a minister, you have all of this insider information, and then you are participating in the purchase. How can there be fair competition? How can people, members of the general public, fairly compete with a powerful cabinet minister sitting in cabinet, privy to all of these discussions, all of these insider matters? How can they compete with him? That's number one. And let me stress, before I move to point two, that this is a position that you recall that I have held for many, many years. Indeed, 16 years ago, the Honorable Dr. Mani Buama and I, when we were young activists in opposition, 2008, we took on the late Honorable Jacob Echebi Lamte when we saw a notice in the Ghanaian Times at the time that he was purchasing his bungalow, his official bungalow. We said that it was morally reprehensible, it was unethical, marks of conflict of interest. We went all the way to the Supreme Court on that matter. So I'm being very consistent here, and it's about the principle. It's not personal. I have nothing, against the actors in this matter. It's the principle. Now, I was coming to point number 2. I have proceeded to look at the current status of Rock City Hotel, because somebody may argue that, probably he has relinquished his interests or his control over Rock City Hotel Limited. I have obtained all incorporation documents on Rock City, copies of which I have here. And you will observe that Rock City Hotel incorporated in 2016. He is still the director, he is still the sole beneficial owner. Now, in anticipation of taking over controlling shares of these 6 Smith hotels, he has only a few weeks ago, April 10th this year, incorporated what is now known as the Rock City Group of companies, where he is also director and the sole beneficial owner. So unlike what the Honorable Akuffo Addo, for example, did at Data Bank, relinquishing, backing off, the Honorable Brian Champon has not done that. He is still very much in the driving seat. He is the director, he is the sole beneficial owner. He totally controls Rock City. So he is the one who is purchasing these 60% shares in these 6 hotels. The third point that ought to be emphasized is a constitutional matter. If you pay regard to Article 78 of our Constitution, Article 78 of the Constitution, 78(3), provides that a minister of state shall not hold any other office of profit or emolument, whether private or public, and whether directly or indirectly, unless otherwise permitted by the Speaker, acting on the recommendations of a committee of Parliament, on the ground of A, that holding that office would not prejudice the work of a minister, and B, that no conflict of interest arises or would arise as a result of the minister holding that office. So Article 78(3) is very clear. When you come to Article 98(2) of our Constitution, so 78(3) deals with ministers, 98(2) deals with MPs. Article 98(2) also provides that a member of Parliament shall not hold any office of profit or emolument, whether private or public, and either directly or indirectly, unless permitted to do so by the Speaker, acting on the recommendations of a committee of Parliament, on the grounds that A, holding that office would not prejudice the work of a member of Parliament, and B, no conflict of interest arises or would arise as a result of the member holding that office. So I have proceeded to carry out diligent checks under our standing orders, Order 224. It is the Committee on Office of Profit that is responsible. That is the committee that this Constitution is referring to. And under Standing Order 224, the procedure is outlined how an MP or a Minister of State applies to the committee, to the Speaker, and the response that should emanate from the Right Honorable Speaker. I have obtained the full list of all MPs and ministers who have applied and received approval from the Speaker. There are 47. And indeed, I have attached that list to the petition. The Honorable Brian Champon has never applied and does not have a certificate from the Speaker or permission from the Speaker to engage in office of profit, to hold an office of profit or emolument, and to be participating in this profitable transaction.
So you consider shareholding and directorship as holding office of profit?
Absolutely.
Right. If you make a work with video, bona injegben shini fair tra ona info no kla koni onushishi ojogba bona beninchon koni yue mu akafa. Ona so ke obono ne yue to ye. So ajegba cookbook say bona beninchon ni ajegbe afe yake le aba won e ha. Unfortunately for them, once again, there were minority shareholders ni 4.5% shares yeneke hotels name. Ni yemlana onye ni hotel without the consent from minority shareholders because hotel technically hotels no, you don't own 100% shares. Bona benichon me komeyeni ame owner hotel eko no asani oke me abagbe pamu na mekpene ake ohun dan onyo yano ni ohun no na ke obono ni okujetu ablakwa yeto many me minority shareholders say amekpene ni government infeno ne ba fe na nyame no na force ya me na mekpene by force na mekpene no juno ni ani ne kan alarm ne blow ne bona benichon no juno ni ani neke alarm ne blow ne ni echono ko yemiake I mean Brian Echampone still echuoni he government minister ni no ni government minister ni te fiote ko kwetu mo beni we elia e ba nye ke ankro businessmen alo ankro businessmen ba nye kele ashina na pele no ko ke government hono ko ni le echuoni ha government ne ba nye here on a conflict of interest there yo. First of all, because echuoni ha government I mean good business practice back esani po e ba ne kendo ko mi because he is conflicted. And the fact that actually government ba fe bias alo ba fe partial in his favor it is can't me fan ki am fe monena ona benichon gbeko kwa be ni government ba kwe ni mokonklo awini ne ken bid ne so called bid ne na me fe definitely your money yo am a party me because ke government ba ni government ba go ahead e ba ya cabinet ni ka te cabinet and yo ake Akuffo Addo ke minister sa me ba tashi ni amete mokono ni eta one ni ameshile na ama ho ya mokonklo ame fe nakan onum sisi ame fe nakan no me nakan chunu na ame fe ame yake ame ba ho government ni bi ha ame ba fake companies na ame ho government ni bi ha ame ni ame juga na shika na ame twaga na chobo be na ame ka ambaka ame tiono ni bi ni Ghana government ya ame fe alo ni bi ni Ghana government nye fe ame ho fe ame no ame no ni pena me ba fe mu ne no ni pena me ba fe mu ne ame ba ake I mean what is wrong ni Ghana nyokonklo na be MPP government here me le we ba na hotel na eko na ehi. First of all, me was need to decide that come in hotel say bio esani because hotels ne ko okujetu ablakwa ta chono wage La Palm Royal Hotel it is one of the most lucrative hotel in Ghana. Ni trankeji hotel ko ni ekashika bawa so hotels ne je hotels jinkomeni amengbeshi ni amemomonyumo shi hotels ni amekese na momba so hotels na amekese na momba ni je ni government ngbeshi mi ne wo ya no ya ho usually can make businesses in foot alo ahon na ke businesses the way ni wo ran yo le eyin wo monyomo wo ngbeshi she business me businessman dey nye business ko ne na shika ekese na mo pimbe hale fe business is fe keke ete ho La Palm chono ga hotels ni Ghana fe government shika fe hotels ni fe so ma ba government ba du mo shine ka ke no ko ne ha le shika fe nuchu mo fe ho de mo be mi show na ame nuchumo ame baka ame ba ju Ghana ni bi ame baka ni bi ni je amame no ni bi ni Ghana bi ano ni ke ye Ghana bi ade e ba wa Ghana bi e fe da bi ama ame ka me wekume ka me bi pe ba enjoy onum shishi ni noko eko ni okojuetu ablakwa wi echona ke ye wa Ghana constitution me eje noko na asanefi eje no ko na sanefi ko ba kwe wonyemenu okujetu ablakwa e kan constitution ama kan e ko ma be ke kwamo a minister of state shall not hold any other office of profit or emolument whether private or public and whether directly or indirectly unless otherwise permitted by the speaker acting on the recommendations of a committee of parliament on the ground. Afo no ejemi A, that holding that office will not prejudice the work of a minister, and B, that no conflict of interest arises or would arise as a result of the minister holding that office. So, the article coming from the Constitution is glaringly clear. Okay, eje no kona sani an me brane champon be ne fe na ken clear ko boku je to abla kwato e kekeje aba me bo podi enche sani obi speaker of parliament gbe ni enmebo gbe no onye obote ne ke profit making venture ne okuje to abla ko ke na parliamentarian se come 47 ni ame big gbe ni anma ame gbe na ame fe businesses brane champo gbe be mi so ye je me come to 1 eton. Number 2, conflict of interest. It is clear. This guy is a minister of state. Ona Benincho is a minister of state. If you attend the state, there no FOA, ne honi e hale. Mokoni minister of state ni state there no FOA, ni e honi e hale. Ona Benincho, so mele, ama me fe ame yake, ame ka ame ba, ju ame ba ju. Ju ame ba ju. I'm nibi ni Ghana your fe ne wa Ghana bi I'm about fe le po company le wo like run hotels bona beninto she ya me tell me come po am form fake companies na me ho am fo am no keka me ho ni e ha me no if you te state ne chuni e hale as a minister state no FOA ne it is clear and this is basic Ona Benicho, conflict of interest, it is right there. And you don't need to be mokonote scoopy, then obana clearly there is a conflict of interest here. O chuni has state no fenoko FOA ni le no ehoni habo. No ni jienyu sanobi speaker of parliament be obi kolegbe. Shi ayano ni ahoni afemini ahabo. Ona Benicho, ona juna mejuo. Ona jona metwa Ghana. Ona ju na metwa Ghana meneme ochobo na metwa nkebo ake na metala no ne nuni wona bibiye keji amete no na nibi ni woba na woba gbe wodami ikebo no ko min lakabo keji amete no obana nibi funji na mefe obana wi na meye Ghana bi keji amete no obana wi na meye Ghana bi Ona Benincho obana wi na meye Ghana bi Minute used to be here. Now I'm in New Trade Union Congress. I'm a fair press conference. I'm a kadabi. What benin kokoko? Snitty bay wale. Neka washikaba ashwe. Now me ba fe ni bi come. What benin? Come on. Come on, no come na me come on. Matcha ya me video matcha mabo. Come on. Ega we find it difficult to understand why Snit's interest in these hotels should be sold to a company owned by a minister of state. It is not right. It is not right. Defiote am lalu eno efwe ne hotels ne am ko ne chuoni am lalu eno ene ngma yo ne ke sande ye ngma afio ne ke nokoye Ona Benicho ngma yo ne ke sande ye ngma afio ne ke nokoye Come on, another one. Amike, we are calling on the Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, who is responsible for pensions, to direct the Board of Trustees of SNIT to cancel the process immediately. Otherwise, we will advise ourselves. Ona Benicho, Minister for Employment and Labor Relations said, TUCB, I'm a press conference, I'm a kelake, because government workers ashika pensioners ashika ni SNIT investor ama meshikani amekaka honi now whether me walejo ame benaka walejo we will see bona Benicho should be yake te fi otene baale na kan o tuni on government no na honi habo bono bomo no tuni government for no na honi habo ona iye ame press conference na ame fe ye twi mi ofa na awabo ame to yi
omo to board no for say Sadia na ekosu esan never be omo hu wo muntino omuntwa so and so ebesi ne kwa na ekosu ya hu se aba edwom ya obi e ka ho ase na ihia mu no ye de to minister ojina ho ma pension ono aso no ojina ho ma employment any labor relations. But the true name, sir, and the money we are on country Senate board, say, Sadena a cosmo, Umutaso. Now, yen Trahoma Senate board, approve, say, yen Tong Senate hotels and farmer service minister. They give him say, and yet. Now, whom cross, I don't could be now, move boy hotels and yet come papasso. Sir, the senior make country woman. The Abubon Tofa and the command minister for employment. The Dibinsa command chief of staff. The Dibiama chairperson of the board of trustees of SNIT. And the Dibiama director general. Now, that's the the country minister said, while here are mass net board no and chats had the so. And the nature say a petition. Now, a Tiana everything Ghana for whom be that. If you say, Yentra ma, a Jumai Fosika, Nipa me and Sabi, and Coton and Ma Sabi, Nipa.
We want government to know that these funds are not government funds. These funds are pension funds. And pensions are guarded by the Act 766. We have investment guidelines under Act 766. And clearly, these guidelines have not been followed. Government should be aware that we will not allow them to play chaskele with our funds. Should they dare go ahead, it will be the mother of all strikes in Ghana.
Right, often about a press conference, in Neko Blofo Mishi Blofono and our clerk and try Onue, Bona Beninchon, and we want in download in any mean track can have way. Onum Shishi, Bolenche Quamo. Ona, I mean, we been a Blofo Backet, they are so corrupt, Jamie Sunday. No phenomena Bafia Jamie Sunday. They are extremely corrupt, no phenomena, like they don't care anymore. Jame saneji noko don noko ba me na don amen yano na me feno na me sumo amen yano na me feno na sumo no na ka min biya ke no ene wona Akuffo Addo ehwe snit onukpa na ewo osafo ma afo bile ke bataje ene wo na Akuffo Addo snit onukpa ni yo jeme ehwele ni ewo osafo ma afo bile ke bataje ko na menye na me yano na me fe ne kenoko onum sisi meni me wafon shiki e ha mene meni me ni wafon oshiki e ha mene fense ame snit bi ame na kenu na ame fie jeni npapa niye amen na ke komo inke me bi ege snit denies any impropriety in selling a 60% stake in 4 hotels to Rock City Hotel owned by Dr. Brian Echampon still amen na kenu na ame fie eja te fiote a state institution oba fo eno oba ho no koni government no amlalo ni o fo eno o amoko na echu ani amlalo ni still a snit ena ni fon ye no na amefie mi amena ni fon ye no ni amefie mi ya mesusu mu na ame no na amefie jale kron onim sisi jale kron no min bia ke ene woni ahwe snit onukpa ni yoje na Akuffo Addo ko safo ma fo bile ba ko ne ba chi ne ke ni ne ke ya mi ne chi ne ya true ona beninchon ne chi ne ya true no le meni ole taflache ame buo Ghana bi bului ame feel aka Ghana bi here chila ame ina ndo ona ni no jinoko ni no jinoko ne fita ni bi PIA ni ebani afon shiki against ame ona na me na Ghana bi aka taflache wo yin echele wo na me na Ghana bi aka taflache wole wo beku keje woni ne juno no jino ko ti ne ba gba me na because ole amebu mo ona oye mano na me mpin na me mbolo na me no juno oju ke ojo no otwa shi ame fioto Ghana bi bedwemo Ghana bi na ni no NPP government ne nke Ghana bi aka no ni nye na aje na kai Ghana be nuni no MPP government ne nke Ghana be ake nuni nye nuoje na kan ona benicho ni noko ni meni fon shiki ameta oji ni obana ake amele obana amefe tamo amele amebeku from amenine jino no obana amefe tumo amele papa keje efon onum shishi no jino ko ne ba gba amena no le meneme kenke buake ameliaka oshiki abayi ameliaka oshiki abayi ame ni amefe ni bi fe ni ba fe mini amba dumo no na ameke ju ona benincho kenye kwa registration ni ya no ni bi ni electoral commission ya no e check number solo we ya no e check number registration unpodi enche ya no ke fe ga number skonkle ba e fe ga number skonkle ya no e follow. Last week we fe vote we video ni we fe we ni fe mo ni we fe registration ni ya no ni bi ni electoral commission en fe neyin mene we ko e bajepo soja fo e ka police fo e ka immigration bi aja slots MP say ni your parliament fe na me fe gbeme kome nyuma ka eten abote wa police jiami wa soja fuami bolenche kwamo so 137 MPs ni your parliament me 30 slots each me slots kome nyumete amefe ona ena amechon keje no aka fa unpu omo keje be sane keje police fe ke soja fu ameheme kenwo ame soja kenwo soja ame ke police fu ame aka me tumo be no le be no ba na no me pass out. No, for a while ne amelencha ameheme ame party bi kan wo soja ke police mi ni amegbele gbe Ghana bi tumo be no le na afia ke soja fu eheme agbogbe ame announcer ya daily newspaper say mi ni oba ya post office ke ko oya e form ke ko fili ke ko ke ha me na ame kwa mi amba chebo ka interview bo ko pass ke ko te training for be ne police ke soja ame fe na kan na me low MPPB so awomi bonave ka fon shikie ni ajiame ni MPPB e bo kai na menya me tun amenu tumo tumo be na me tena amagbe me paanyo last year ododo di odo agbe me enyo bene wo fe aya wo so west wogon le una kan na me fe na me chura ma tun eje me party thugs ameke MPPB low MPPB kan wo police now inka ke MPPB ka police MPPB je Ghana bi je ame je na ka jino ni nta o macho she ka ja chuchu fe wale ake yes aye protocol bi mo she mo agbeli omi Ghana bi una me qualify kona me femini na me wa menya me apply na me bote police ka soja mi she ka be sane na ka onu epo aka agbelegbe ni Ghana bi anye ame femini ame apply to soja ke police bona benichon onu epo she be no bana no afi graduation be no bana no soja fu graduate me be no bana no police fu graduate me ni je na kanji be na afio me ne NDC bi ye ame yue parliament ame fe press conference ake ame ba kwe ni ne keno ko ne ka ya no na ba kwa ke lele MPP bi ye amba ma me gbe ko ni ame fe bo atu force into minority leader bullet we
wish to remind His Excellency the President Akuffo Addo and the Vice President Alhaji Bawumia that they will not have their way this time round, regardless of whatever maneuverings that they will roll out in the 2024 elections. We will resist these shenanigans with all our might and all our strength. Our members, our supporters and sympathizers will not just defend themselves against unlawful attacks by the NPP thugs in uniform. We shall hold these NPP hoodlums personally responsible for their unlawful violation of the laws of Ghana and the legitimate rights of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, it is in the interest of the NPP foot soldiers to act lawfully or face the full consequences of their actions in the wrath of our supporters. Just as the minority protested vehemently against the politicization of our security services through illegal recruitment in 2019, we once again demand that recruitment into all the security services be halted forthwith to allow for advertisement to be made with the qualification criteria duly spelled out for all to see. By so doing, we would have created equal opportunity for all Ghanaians who would then be selected on the basis of merit and not cheap partisanship and nepotistic consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that.
Right. If you're a minority leader that way, Oshikia na bafo blonya miye noe wana me ya no na me fio no na me fio yi. Oshikia na bafo afo abe miye noe wana me fio no na me fio. Ame fe tumo beni keba bo na fe ka bo kai ame party bi son na menye na me wole tui na me ka tula me tumo be na me fe last election say na fe na me apply me na me gbe Ghana bi no ni ame fio no ni ame fio ame lo me party bi kan wo police ke soja mi bo na fe ka ya me na me ka me pene ame ye police foi ke soja foi ni ba damo ame se ame ye police foi ke soja foi ni ba damo ame se ayo police ke soja foi be je ne kan fiole ika I know inje nwani ake aye protocol slots na ke ha me she je ne ke mi ke ba ke mene me be sane onu no ba nu yake police heme soja fo heme onu na ke nkokoko ni Ghana oblantai ba ya na me ba forms na me ba fili onu ne si be no ba nu no police fo meje po police be no ba nu no meje po soja amen lo me party bi so ken wo mi ame be icho emene ma me sumo Ghana ekpapa ame be icho na me sumo Ghana ekpapa ame fi ame yaka me ba fiteni na me liaka me ba yi abayi ame na me fe kwa me yaka me ba me power e ka yi ame fe kwa me yi no ame fe no na mba fe bona fe ni ka yi ame na me ka me pene ame ye soja fo e ka police fo ni ba damo ame se no ni ame fi o kan ni mokola kabo Awabo James Agaga to James Agaga, legit former Minister for Interior, John Mahama time,
Let me state that when the Honorable Ambrose Derry, the former Interior Minister, sought to counter our press conference by stating that the recruits had gone through the procedure, I mean, he wasn't being truthful, because at the time it was evident that no advertisements had been made as is required by the service regulations of all the security agencies, including the armed forces. So that point was well made. Fast forward to 2024. How many years is it now? We're talking about 2019. So if you argue that you are clearing a backlog, let me tell you something. When an advert is made for recruitment, age is very important. And so if it's the argument that they are clearing a backlog, what do you think would be the ages of those who applied in 2019? They'll be disqualified by now. You see, because if you exceed 25, I mean, it's over for you. You can't be recruited into the police or any of the security services of our country. Your medical conditions must have changed. So that argument is wholly untenable. And so, like the leader said, this is an opportunity for them to recruit their party thugs and hooligans into the security services. And the aim is to deploy those thugs who will now be masked as police officers, immigration officers, and soldiers to help them rig the 2024 elections. And that is what the leader hinted, that we shall guard against any attempt to rig the elections with those they are attempting to recruit. In any case, we're saying that the process must be halted now and adverts made so that Ghanaians who are qualified, right, can be recruited on the basis of merit and not nepotism.
Right. If you make a work Honorable James Agaga video, so NDCB sana make a mena ni ama moshi. Once again, ke a feel slot say problem be shak bele mi tumo beni wale na agbeli ole na ni Ghana bi fe apply money qualifier na fe mini na kala awo jeme shinye ka lu anye party bi pe ka wo jeme de nye party bi pe ji Ghana Ghana bi de MPP bi pe ji Ghana bi bona benicho oblantai piye agbe school na town no chumo ni keji amena soja ya amebaya amena police ya amebaya no mi no agbele mi na ba ngma me fe gbetumo beni wole na fio ni mena mekpa nke ye be san ne ona onu ye ni abaka ke o agbelegbe police fún iheme soja fún iheme she be no ba no police fún egbe training na ngma me ame graduate soja fún egbe training na mo ame graduate ni je na kanji be na fiole ona benicho como excuse na me ani honorable agaga yue ameka ame clear backlog tu mo benicho na keno kedi nyen clear backlog mi no onye gbele mi aga na bi fe ni ame apply yo mi no onye gbele mi aga na bi fe na ame apply yo ni nyeke nya each MPP mi no onye ya NDC bi anweko mi no onye ya NDC bi anweko be NDC nwa me MPs hu ye parliament mi no ame unye ame 30 slots each tumo beninya MPP be 30 slots each mi no onye NDC parliamentarians 30 slots each na mo ame we bi awo na mo ame constituents ni Ghana bi ji ame na ame ka ame nwa wo mi ona benincho ona ni mene nke amele oshikia na ba fun no ewa ame fio ame liaka ba yi ame ni ame fe ko ame yake ame ba ngme wale yi ka yi ame ame fe kwa me no le ka me le ke Ghana bi ba tashi na ba kwa me this time around ame male mini wacha John Dramani mama eke osofo yakpe ni Archbishop Duncan Williams ewe no ko yemi and I hope ake electoral commission ebo to ni MPP bi enwo ame mbotwe eke komo make no mistake, Ghanaians are not gentle. Eke make no mistake, Ghanaians are not gentle. Ni ya video me mimba macho mabu eke komo ena no ni teno 79 ka 81 eke na no keji MPBB feel like Ghana BLA wa ejo MPBB per se ewe generally bona benicho no na ka no mi feel mi ka MPBB angoje me because ama metano ni keno ko baba ama me ba ani no ko aba because ame feel ame yake wale ka ya ama me ona eke ka feel like Ghana bi wa ejo wasumo efon wa ejo wabua wa si kejo chiwa unka shayekwe no ni Ghana bi ba fe ame ba fe ne ken ye bi 79 ile no ni te no Ghana bi no fe boletwe
the masses. There is too much pain and suffering in this country. All our doctors and our nurses are leaving this country. We just pray that things will be well handled and managed in transparency and fairness, that we will not end up being refugees in any other country, because without proper fairness and honesty and transparency, and may I say this, that nobody should think that the Ghanaian is a very gentle, don't like trouble human being. It's not true, because I saw what happened 79 and 81, and they were Ghanaians, and some of the violence and the murderers and unrest in certain parts of this country, like what's going on in Boko and other places, they are all Ghanaians. And if we don't manage things well, and we have this mentality and thinking that any party can do whatever they want to do, and the Ghanaian will accept it, and the Ghanaian will live for it, you might be playing with fire, make no mistake. Because when people are desperate and are hungry, they don't care about what happens. And hungry and desperate people are very dangerous people to manage and to deal with. And when demons come into town and possess people, then you know that maybe you really didn't understand the Ghanaian, because when a demon enters a person, it doesn't care about your tribe or your citizenship. It rules you. So I think that, Mr. Former President, and to your party, we should be very aware of some of these things. I wouldn't want to say much, but I have a lot of questions I want to personally ask, and I believe that all the members of the committee have a lot of unanswered questions that we want to put to you to find and to have some answers, so that we know how to educate our congregation.
Right. If you like a boss, or suffer no pathway. Bona beninjo so ejin sole mo aka MPP bi e ame no so for no gba yuene ame ba botwe because say fame yaga Ghana bi ba pe na me ya no ni pin momi na me Ghana bi ewo mi e ame ba ya no ni Ghana bi ba pe na me tano na me ya no na me fe na kan yolo Ghana bi ekpe na me ni this time around keji ame fe ame yake abayi ame na me ba ju ona benincho alo ka yame ame me wale he Ghana bi e ba pe nin Ghana bi e ba pe nin okay ole mi nke abake keji no ko fitai e woni abayi ame ejibu na me bu Ghana bi ejibu na me bu Ghana bi ni efio amake taflache Ghana bi hin echila ame ona beninchon ni ka me yue no kono Ghana bi come on Miracles Abuaji le communications director about my campaign team come on anytime the MPP is in power we encounter things that are beyond our control namosanedi oh John Mama le ne tano le encounter ni bi ne ye beyond the control NDC bi ame ka me nye penny kenye batano NDC bi ama me batera kono ni John Mama time Ebola ji ono na chole ba Ebola eba Africa fe le won shati ni bi down ke no fe no Ebola ba John Mama time ni bi conclomeni le die nche allow NDC as a government am planning for eba megbe John Mama time bona benincho komo no konwe kon na ewe e ga kwamo the dollar rate would have been worse if it was managed by the NDC. We would have bought dollars for ona mene ebedwemo tafache kekemi mene ebedwemo afon shike yambo otano 8 years o kewa ke o kanji John Mahama tano nkwe hey Ghana bill yake John Mahama 2016 na mejiele no amonto ne bo batano o pata economy yin o fite no fe no yin o ke Ghana bi yake o mimpi mo nimpion iya ni nye pion o nye da nyumwa shi yake mi poni ntano oh impi mo ni iya ni nye pion be mi wa de meni nye gbo be mi wa o mo ni yonye be mi wa oh kanji John Mahama tano nkwe oh mo ba ye nye fenike ko kwa me ta flache amebu Ghana bi they are not willing to take responsibility for anything. They are unwillingness to take any sort of responsibility. Can be no bana yame because taflache Ghana bi jebulu jam. It is the gaslighting. Ghana bi omonye Ghana bi ramenke oh mi no mo yonye omo ni yonye bo mo yenye kula John Mahama ni tano nkwe oh mo ba yenye fenike Ghana bi mpin no amen kake oh pin mo ni nye pion be mi wa John Mahama tano nkwe nye ba pin fenike ameye na ameton no ni me na ameke Ghana bi yu one me ameye na ameton no ni me na ameke Ghana bi yu one ona so like I said inge mo fame no yo Ghana ni Ghana country no town ni Ghana aya no me sana chaki ame nike ofonshiki o party ji ame no fonshiki ame po no naka ya me fe mo sure aka me ba ngme Ghana yi le ka me gbe Ghana yi ba gbona me ka me na ame fi ame ya keka ya ma me ngme ame na kenji no na ame fi ame ni Ghana bi e ba pene ame ni mi ke mo fe mo no obomi to keji MPP nyopo jibo no sumo Ghana ka ya me fe mo sure aka support ya ame na me ngme Ghana ni twenjole ni woyo twenjole aya no ne kanshi mo fe mo be bona benincho o fa ne bonu mi shishi bona benincho iwe ko iwe ko o fa ne bonu mi shishi ona sana chaki ame sani achaki ame sana chaki ame noko papa eko be don ni amanya me fe ka wa Ghana bi noko papa eko be don ni amebanya me fe ka wa Ghana bi ame Dr. Baomi alenche be serious me no le noko un ewe oh John Mahama eye omo eye president dan no John Mahama shi ale ko ni le we ba ye ku ko kwe me ne moko ne yo serious John Mahama eye president eko dan no John Mahama un ashi ale ni le we ba ye ku wo matwa na kan video maabo shinke inke fly machine abo no kwa nye video wo matwa maabo no bulletin no kwa ke mene sana vote alelo bona be din chon so ke chon we chon sports na chaki ame ni ame yase na ma kase ni ame buakunta ame na ame modern ball ame modern ni ame ball ame na ni fonjin na ame fe ona be din chon boni afe ni ke ame batano ko wen ko ni ame fe no ni ba wa Ghana bi fe oyira don wa ade nche ake ofe bi okwemi amontene ball nga mi bon e wo modern fi no ya ni ball engona wa nyemeni nyeke jaje mo e ba fe nye iradon wa de enche engona mi bon e wo modern bona fe ni ma yue gan kron ona beni chon ni ma ni bluff wa jemi nklo agbene gan ke mi nche nu ko ni ma chelo jogba no nyemeni nyeke jaje mo e ba fe nye ya no ni nyeke jaje mo aba engona wa de enche twa no ma nye jino afe wo fe wo no nyeke yo wa yin asin bye bye
baba it's neat. Them say you want to chop my